Do you ever check your bank account, feel completely fine about it, and then 5 minutes later you see someone's new car, or a friend's salary slips out in conversation, and suddenly that same number feels like failure? Nothing about your finances changed. But you did. Most people think that's just comparison culture. Social media, other people's highlight reels. But that's not the real cause, it's just the delivery system. In this video I'm going to show you the actual psychological switch that flips every time this happens, why it's almost impossible to notice in the moment, and 3 specific ways to catch it before it wrecks your mood, or your decisions. Stick around for the third one, because it's the one that actually changes how you feel about money long term, not just in the moment. Picture Maya. She's 29, she just got a raise, and for about a week she feels genuinely good about her money. She's saving more than she used to. She's proud of herself. Then she's at dinner with an old college friend, and the friend mentions they just put a down payment on a house. Maya says, "That's amazing." And means it. But on the drive home, something shifts. She starts doing math in her head. Rent versus mortgage. Her savings versus a down payment. By the time she gets home, the raise that felt like progress 20 minutes ago now feels like she's behind. Here's the strange part. Maya's actual financial situation is exactly the same as it was at 6 p.m. Same account balance. Same raise. Same progress. The only thing that changed is the number she's measuring herself against. Here's the mechanism nobody names out loud. Your brain doesn't experience money in absolute terms. It experiences money relative to a reference point, and that reference point resets automatically, without asking your permission. This isn't a willpower problem. It's not that Maya is insecure or unwrapped. It's that human beings evaluate almost everything, money, status, attractiveness, success, by comparison to a nearby example, not by comparison to their own past. Psychologists call this a reference point shift. Your brain quietly swaps out how I was doing last month for how the closest visible example is doing right now, and it does this so fast you never catch the substitution happening. That's the hidden reason. It's not that you're bad with money, and it's not that you're a shallow person for caring what your friend has. It's that your internal measuring stick gets hijacked by whatever number is closest and most recent, and a raise, a promotion, a good year, none of it can compete with a number you just heard 5 minutes ago. The problem isn't the comparison itself. Comparison is normal, it's actually how humans have always figured out where they stand. The problem is that you don't get to choose the reference point. It chooses you. Quick gut check before we go further. This isn't about telling you to just be grateful or stop scrolling. Gratitude doesn't fix a reference point problem, because the shift happens beneath conscious thought, before gratitude even has a chance to kick in. You need to interrupt the mechanism itself, not paper over it with a mindset quote. So let's talk about how to actually do that. The moment you notice that sinking feeling, ask yourself one specific question. What number am I comparing myself to right now, and where did it come from? Usually you'll find it something absurdly specific and recent, a friend's house, a coworker's bonus, a stranger's post. Once you can name it, it stops operating in the background and starts looking like what it actually is. One data point, not a verdict. Since your brain is going to use some reference point whether you like it or not, you can choose a better one. Instead of closest visible example, use me, 12 months ago. Same bank app, same accounts, just scroll back. Look at your own trajectory instead of someone else's snapshot. This works because it's still comparison. You're not fighting your own wiring, you're just feeding it a reference point that actually reflects your progress instead of someone else's circumstances, timeline, income, or luck. This is the one that matters most, because comparison doesn't just make you feel bad, it makes you act. People change real financial decisions based on a 5-minute feeling, overspending to catch up, making a risky investment because someone else got in early, avoiding a smart move because it looks small next to someone else's. So build in a pause. If a financial decision, a purchase, an investment, quitting a job, taking on debt, was triggered within the last 24 hours by seeing what someone else has, wait 48 hours before acting on it. Not forever. Just long enough for the reference point to reset back to something closer to reality. Here's what this looks like once it clicks. Maya still notices when a friend buys a house. She still feels that flicker. But now she catches it. That's the reference point talking, not the truth about my progress, and she checks her own numbers from a year ago instead of her friend's numbers from tonight. The raise doesn't stop mattering. It goes back to mattering. This isn't about never comparing yourself to anyone again. That's not realistic, and honestly it's not even necessary. It's about making sure the comparisons you make are the ones you'd actually choose, your own history, your own goals, instead of whatever number happened to be standing nearest to you. So to recap, the hidden reason you keep comparing yourself financially isn't social media, and it isn't a personal flaw. It's that your brain automatically swaps your reference point for the nearest visible example, and you were never given the controls. Don't expect this to disappear the first time you try it. The reflex is fast and it's automatic. The goal isn't to stop noticing other people's money, it's to catch the switch a little faster each time. One day the number in your account will feel like your progress again, not a scorecard against someone else's timeline. So here's your one thing to try today. Next time that comparison feeling hits, ask, what number am I measuring against, and where did it come from? Then tell me in the comments, what's the last thing that triggered that feeling for you? If this was useful, subscribe for more of these, and I'll see you in the next one.